Hey everybody, welcome to the Essentially Sports Think Tank. Super fired up to have my good friend Billy Tuchscher, the CEO of the Skateboarder Hall of Fame, and legendary skater and entrepreneur Christian Hosoi.
Thank you for having me, man. Paris was incredible. Incredible presentation of skateboarding that the Olympics did.
Billy, you talked about the numbers in the Olympics. How did that compare to the Tokyo Olympics?
17 million viewers for the Tokyo Olympics. This year, 49. The sport is exploding because of the youth, because kids are seeing champions.
Skateboarding, back in the day when ramps were the thing to do, to bring your friends together, to create a scene, was something unique because it not only created, guys getting together to skate, but it brought music together, it brought fashion together. It really created this lifestyle, what we see today, like Billy was talking about, what the girls are looking like.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Essentially Sports Think Tank. Super fired up to have my good friend Billy Tuchscher, the CEO of the Skateboarder Hall of Fame, and legendary skater and entrepreneur Christian Hosoi. Welcome back. I know we tried this one time before the Olympics. I'm pretty excited to have everybody back on for the recording this time after the Olympics and hear how everything went.
Man, thank you for having me back. I tell you, it was fun the last time, but man, Paris was incredible. I wish you guys would have been with us. It was a incredible presentation of skateboarding that the Olympics did. The facility, the actual park that they had. I had two riders in the park. It's called Urban Park, and one from Australia and one from Brazil. The one from Brazil was Dora Varela. She ended up in fourth place in the finals. And then Arisa Trew, 14-year-old from Australia, won the gold medal. And so we were in complete elation, me and Steve Van Doren and his daughter Christy. We were there to support all the Vans riders and, of course, my riders as well. But Arisa rides for Vans, so it was just this, incredible celebration for all of us being there. And so it
Yeah,
Paris.
he rides for Vans and for Hosoi. So
Yes. So Paris was an incredible event that took place literally just a couple weeks ago.
That's amazing.
And being in Paris, I'm part French, by the way, and I took French in school, and so just being in that city, was beautiful. But to have skateboarding represented well by not only, my riders, but all skaters. They all skated well, they performed well. I think the viewership was done well. People around the world that watched it were blown away. The climactic ending to it all, in a competition, you always want to see people competing at a high level, and both the women and the men skated at a high level. There was an element of competitive nature where there was one guy that people, one country they were voting for, screaming for. The fans were all there. Japan, there was no fans in the crowd because of what was going on in the world. And this was just I was super proud of, where skateboarding has come from, but also where it's going. And so to be there to witness it in person was something spectacular. And, the suspense of the Olympics coming to Los Angeles in 2028 is something to really be like, just, it's such excitement for our city. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, and I cut my teeth in skateboarding right here in the city. And so for it to be coming back here, right after Paris I couldn't, you couldn't plan something like this. This is like a storybook, time in skateboarding, especially for me, who pushed through all the boundaries, said that, skateboarders should be making $1 million. This is in 1982 when we were making like, $700 for first place, in contests, and we're in backyards. It was really, you know, kind of like a dream. and that dream has become a reality. These kids are making $1 million. They got, huge contracts, and I'm stoked to see it all happen. And I'm alive. Here's another thing. I'm just stoked to be alive to see it. My life has been a roller coaster. Some of you guys may know my life story, but I tell you, to be here to witness it all going down, I can't tell you how blessed I am.
Well, that's amazing. Well, congratulations, Billy. By the way, I feel I'm the only one not wearing a hat, so I gotta. Any chance to wear my cowboy hat, man? I'm in.
Yeah,
We're
you
all
got to
got our
you
hats
got to
on.
get in the hat program. We're big into hats.
Yeah,
Our crew over
yeah, I
here.
told you I just had a birthday party. We had here's the deal hats everywhere. My wife Christian had all my friends wearing those hats, making fun of me because I never shut up saying here's the deal. But Billy, tell us a little bit about what's happening, and then we'll jump back into Christian, your background and what's happening with the Olympics and the sport. But talk to us a little bit
Sure.
about what's going on at the Skateboarding Hall of Fame and what that means for skateboarding in general.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think the important thing that just happened, of course, is the Olympics. It was the second time that the skateboarding was showcased there, and had a great competition. I would say that one of the great things about skateboarding is the camaraderie. You could literally see the love and the friendly competition between the skaters. These skaters know each other. They know each other's reputation. They've skated with each other. They've competed with each other, but it's a little different than other sports where it might be kind of cold between the participants. These people are all hugs and love and respect. It's worth mentioning that the three medalists in the women's skate, their average age was 14.
Wow.
And the reason I mention that is it's really driving, some of the growth in skate. Women skating is the fastest growing segment. Women are definitely paying attention to it. That is showing up in all kinds of elements of pop culture and commercialization, including fashion. We spend a lot of time in Las Vegas. We're doing an expansion and some work out there as a Skateboarding Hall of Fame. And just walking around the clubs and the common spaces, you're seeing a lot less high heels and spandex and a lot more baggy pants and Vans and Converse and Nike SB sneakers. The women are adopting skate and the casual lifestyle that is skate, and again, they're all sort of friends and acquaintances and doing some incredible feats, frankly. About 49 million people tuned into skateboarding in the Olympics, which is a huge number. It is the darling sport of Gen Z and millennials. They feel, we do a lot of surveys and keep up with the market, but they believe that the sport is theirs. It represents the independence and rebellious nature that is Gen Z and millennial population. So I'm finding that just brands are all over it. They want to figure out how to get involved and how to participate in skateboarding. And we see that as one of our missions, is bringing new interest from corporate America, new dollars into skate, new sponsorship money, beyond just the what you can wear kind of sponsors. Food, candy, all kinds of drinks, coffees, all kinds of companies are coming into skateboarding to kind of try and reach a demographic that's really hard for them to reach.
That's amazing. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit last time around the females kind of. I think Christian, you said growing up, all the guys would always challenge each other to do harder tricks, and now you're seeing that with the women, and the women challenging each other is galvanizing the sport as well. Talk a little bit about kind of that, that culture of skateboarding of, fall down 7 times, get back up 8, or fall down 100 to get it done, right? And it's amazing to see, as you mentioned, Billy, what's happening with women's sports in general, and it's happening everywhere, including skateboarding.
Yeah, certainly Christian can comment, but there are about 65 million Americans that have or do skateboard. It's been around for about 60 years, a little longer actually, if you include the do-it-yourself boards before that. But it's been a sport that's gone through some peaks and valleys over time as technology new wheels and trucks and different types of skate come into play. The two types of skateboarding that are in the Olympics, of course, are street skating, which people will be familiar with from their county stairs and steps in the city parks, and park skateboarding, which is flowing through obstacles that are designed for skate. And the one thing that's missing is vert. Christian might talk about that, but we're all hoping that the Olympic Committee allows for vert skating when they come to LA. It would be fitting and exciting. And we are pretty excited about the LA return of skateboarding in the Olympics to its birthplace. We'll all be out there. I think we're all together in Venice next week. So, there's just this heightened level of participation and excitement there. Christian, you want to comment on that maybe?
Yeah, definitely the women's category in skateboarding has not only influenced skateboarding, but has influenced the world in general on a women's female basis because they're so young now skating, and the Japan Olympics was like a precursor to what's going on because Japan has come full force and they have like just been training and pushing it for the Japan Olympics, and it showed. It showed in their performance. You saw, on the men's category, Yuto winning. Even America, USA, has now really stepped up to the plate and really has invested into skateboarders and said, "Hey, we need to shine bright in this, sport that we created." And I remember my father probably like 10 years ago saying, "Christian, I started sponsoring girls, and my biggest, sponsorship really on my team right now is women, because there's just this fresh vibe that's happening in our sport where girls are excited to skate. Men are so jaded, that they're just like all in competition. They have this, there's egos going back and forth. But I think that the women have now brought this camaraderie back to where we were back in the 80s, to where we were just happy to be skating and we wanted to push ourselves. So there we were pioneering and inventing maneuvers back then, where now the women are doing the very same thing because they've never done it before. Arisa did the first 720 last year, broke record. Then she did the first 900 this year. And then she won, double gold at X Games last year at 13. And then this year she won double gold, at X Games at 14. And so, and now she just won the gold at the Olympics. And so we're really seeing a youthful spirit in skateboarding that is being pushed by women and the female category, which is exciting. And then vertical, these girls all skate vert. This isn't just like they only skate park or street. And to believe that there's going to be, and Tony Hawk is a champion for vertical skateboarding. We come from vertical skateboarding. That was our heaviest competition of when you go back and look at videos and you go back and look at contests, we're all skating vertical. We're in like a pool that's vert, or we're on a vert ramp in the middle of an arena. And to really see and foresee the future, I believe that vert is going. I'm going to push for it as well. Vert should be in the Olympics, but it's not that we're pushing for it. I think that the culture's demanding it because these skaters are actually performing at the level for the Olympics like platform. And being an Olympic sport, you need women and men to be doing it. And that's where women have really stepped up to the plate in the last 3 to 5 years. Literally 3 years, I would say, that these girls are stepping up and stepping up and stepping up. And now we have such an elite athletic ability in the women's category that it's destined to have vertical in
Yeah,
the Olympics in
and for
2028.
those that aren't familiar, in your audience, the vert is mostly the half pipe kind of that people will be familiar with. Everybody's seen Tony Hawk's 900 years ago, and
Yep.
that is, in my view, one of the most exciting from a spectator standpoint as well. So I would expect that that does hit the Olympics.
It,
And
it's definitely the most exciting, but there was not enough people doing it, and I think that the popularity of it was lacking before the park category was implemented. And Vans was the huge, brand that really created the Park Series event by doing the Vans Park Series for many years. And they started by copying the skate park in Marseille. Marseille has a skate park on the beach that's kind of like a mini ramp with a spine, hips, and bowls. And they did an event out there, and it really sparked just this new, almost like a new lifestyle for skateboarders to express themselves. A lot of people say skateboarding's a sport, and a lot of people say skateboarding's an art and a lifestyle. And so, if you were to talk about canvases, that canvas that was in Marseille was recreated on the beach right here in Huntington Beach for the U.S. Open when Vans was doing the Vans U.S. Open, and it just brought such a new vibe to skateboarding. And you had all these street skaters that could skate transition were coming in skating, and it was like all these technical tricks with blasting tricks, with going high, going fast, but utilizing a park that had many obstacles, whether it was small, whether it was big, whether it was a tombstone, whether it was a spine. And it really brought a lot of fun to skateboarding. And I think that a lot of skaters were more inclined to skate that because I believe it's a little bit easier. Vertical is a hard sport to pick up. To learn vertical skateboarding, riding a half pipe takes a lot of investment. You have to really practice, and that's why I believe it's the elite type of skateboarding. And that's what made it difficult for more people to get involved. But now you have this kid Emma who's 9 years old doing 3 900s in a row right in front of Tony Hawk at his Tony Hawk Vert Alert in Utah just recently. And kids now believe that they can all do 900s. And so we're seeing this like fresh new wind of like belief in themselves that this is what we can do. And now we're seeing kids all over the world now wanting to skate vert because vertical skateboarding is only enhancing their park skills and bringing a lot of technical ability to the deep end part of the skate park, which scores higher in the point standards when you're entering a competition.
the sport is exploding because of the youth, because kids are seeing champions, and saying, "Hey, I want to do that," and just grinding from there, and learning it. One of the great things about skateboarding is it's really inexpensive to enter. The cost of entry is like $100, and your skateboard lasts as long as you can skate. You can pretty much skate anywhere and improve your skills. So it's just one of the most popular sports going right now, and kids also love the culture and love the rebellious nature of it. Skateboarding is often a kid's first transportation and first opportunity to sort of have some independence from their folks or their teachers or school. The skateboarding's always had this rebellious nature, and part of that is frankly a really important mental health exercise. There's all kinds of studies where cities have put skateboard parks into their communities, and teenage suicide has gone down dramatically. And these things are tied together. There's a lot of angst and rage in kids, and skateboarding is a vehicle to get that out and build some camaraderie with your pals and grow in so many ways. And you already said it, Trey, and that is fall 100 times and keep getting up. You don't have to worry about skateboard kids. They're learning everything they need to be successful by simply riding a skateboard and trying to perfect a trick. It's fail, 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 succeed. And Trey, you're a successful guy. I pride myself on a long list of success, but it all started with skateboarding. I mean, that's where I learned everything I needed to know about business and everything else. It's keep grinding, pick yourself up, keep going.
Yeah,
And
we didn't talk about it last time, I don't think, but I grew up in Corpus Christi, which in Texas is a pretty big skateboard mecca, and My brother's about 10 years younger than me, and I was off at college, and he talked my parents into building him one of the biggest ramps I've ever seen was in my backyard, and it was, I mean, it was probably 30 feet wide, had a 12-foot drop, a 14-foot drop, an 8 foot all around, and my parents didn't realize that they had created like the chapel. You know, and, like people were sneaking in at night. I mean, no matter what, there was people, skating at the
At
house.
least they knew where their kid was.
Yeah, well, they did know, right? It was there,
Yeah.
and my dumb ass came back from college and tried to drop in on that thing a couple times, and definitely busted my ass. I mean, that is very difficult, to drop in on those things. And I dabbled in skateboarding, but would never consider myself a great skater. I'm more of a skier, but I saw that and witnessed it firsthand because our backyard became the community. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Christian can tell you all that. He was there in Venice and Dogtown, and can tell you all the experiences there. And certainly in San Diego, we drained a pool or two, and broke into the backyard of some houses that were vacant and for sale, and raided some skateboard areas. But it's part of the culture, and it's part of what we do to expand ourselves and what have you. Sort of, I also have a music business background, and really relish that independent, rebellious nature and activities like that for kids. I think it's the best way to find yourself, the best way to grow personally, best way to find camaraderie, and you're getting some killer exercises at the same time. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I like that saying, build it and they will come, right? I think that skateboarding, back in the day when ramps were the thing to do, to bring your friends together, to create a scene, was something unique because it not only created, guys getting together to skate, but it brought music together, it brought fashion together. It really created this lifestyle, what we see today, like Billy was talking about, what the girls are looking like, and some of them don't even know that that look came from skateboarding, but that look is so personified through the style that it's brought, and it's a lifestyle that skateboarding has in its sport that no other sport has. I mean, we created that in the 80s where style was everything, and it was on the board and off the board. It was the graphics on the bottom of your board that represented you. It was the shape of your board that represent. It was the town. It was whether it was Houston or Dallas where we would go. It was one of the meccas of skateboarding back in the day because there was great skateboarders that came out of those cities and those states. And for me, that was the gold in skateboarding. The falling down, the getting back up, the pushing, the promoting, the marketing, the branding, the representing your neighborhood, your skate park, your ramp, whatever it may be. I think that all those things together created this. It's like a mantra. It's like this culture that you represent, and it was prideful. There was some pride in it that I think that today we have so many parents that are just looking at their kids, trying to mold their kids, and their kids now are having a tough time meshing in with the culture because parents don't. If you've never skated, you really don't know. You're just trying to get your kid, whether it's into the X Games or the Olympics. And I think that they're gonna, fake it till you make it type of thing. They're gonna pick it up as they go. The skater will figure it out. And I've seen it many times where these athletes, where they'll come in, they'll have a goal, but then all of a sudden the goal turns into an experience, and the goal turns into a journey, and that goal turns into desire, and not just goal after goal, reach the goal and then finish with the goal. This is like a lifestyle. That means it's forever in your life that you are a part of something. And that's the special part of skateboarding that I think people are looking at, wanting to understand, wanting to know. And with one thing about like the skateboarding hall of fame being relocated to Vegas is that people can vicariously you know follow skaters, look at skateboarding, see the history of skateboarding, come and view skateboarding live, and then there's going to be music, there's going to be a music stage, there's going to be uh, um, guest Hall of Famers there doing, Q&As where, and presentations of the history of what they've done for the sport. And that education is only going to help people who have never seen it. I grew up in it. So for me, it's like if somebody was a football player like Terry Bradshaw and grew up in it. He's the announcer, he's the commentator, he knows everything about it. He's seen it and he's still allowed to tell it and walk through it because he's still watching it. But we are even still participating in it and still competing in it. I'm 57 this year and Tony Hawk is 56, and we're having to go out and do demos on big, huge vert ramps in front of thousands of people because we love it. Not because we have to, not because we want to. It's because we love to, and
I mean, quite literally. Let me just like
and
last
with
weekend.
that comes all cultures. It's music, it's fashion, and it's bringing people together. The camaraderie of the athletes, the professionals. Whether you call them legends or old, whatever you want to call them. You
I call
know,
them icons.
yeah, you see the camaraderie on the big stage of the Olympics where, when Australian Keegan Palmer won the gold, and then you have USA Tate Carew lifting him up with Pedro Barros on their shoulders, celebrating his win for right in the middle of the skate park. And that just shows how skateboarding, supports each other around the world because we are just that group. We're like a family.
It has a long, deep, effect on pop culture, which is something that we really want to celebrate at the Hall of Fame.
I know they make something that looks great for skateboarding and then they put skate stoppers on it so you can't skate.
It's a teaser. Just to tease you, man. That's
and
interesting. You
that's
know what? I've
and
actually
that's
never.
every building. Wait, that's every building
Yeah.
because every building has a handrail for
Yeah,
stairs. Every
it all
building
gets
has
it all
smooth
gets
concrete.
designed by
Every
the
building has marble.
top architects in the world. Design the thing, and they make it look all beautiful and perfect, and it's all
And then they
skatable.
go.
And then they come back with these like little metal caps and things to they both screw up the architecture and
Oh my
mess it up for
gosh,
skaters. So
it's the
yeah.
best. It's
That's
the
funny.
best.
Well, going back a little bit, Billy, you talked about the numbers in the Olympics. How did that compare to the Tokyo Olympics? Was there was it
17 million viewers for the Tokyo Olympics. This year, 49.
wow?
So yeah, it's huge. It was really enjoyable. The coverage was amazing. Announcing was amazing. Really enjoyable for even those that don't like or aren't interested in skate or haven't seen skate. So that's I think the thing that the Olympics brings. I will say there was some nervousness about the skateboarding entering the Olympics. A lot of people were, in the community were concerned about, gosh, are they going to make us all wear the same colors and uniforms, and how does that work? And I think skateboard community and the Olympic committees have dealt with that in a really, really good way. It seems perfect, and I forget any controversy. Just ask the athletes. You having fun? Did you enjoy it? Are you happy to be there? Those types of things, and they were all thrilled. So yeah, it was a big success. It's gonna continue to grow. But I'm a business guy, so the effect that I think is super fun and frankly really enjoyable to see is more brands want to get involved, and that means more money for skaters, and frankly, we're working really hard to help that. Christian and I, in particular, if we can find sponsorship dollars for kids that allow them to move from their part-time job at Starbucks and skate full-time and develop their trade, their new, their passion in skateboarding and skate professionally, we're really psyched about doing that. And Christian has a really good handle on all the young skaters, and we maintain really good relationships with brands, so we're working pretty hard at bringing new brands into skateboarding, and there's just a ton of interest there because of the demographic.
And
Yeah,
so
you
many
mentioned that earlier.
skaters,
I mean,
right?
I know the traditional Mountain Dews and Monsters have always been involved, but now you're getting a lot of other brands involved. It sounds like that are getting.
Yeah, I mean, the brands need to be there because it's one of the few things that is authentic in terms of support. Skaters follow other skaters, and skaters pay attention to what other skaters do. The traditional paid advertising is not reaching Gen Z. So,
There just needs to be a bridge between the two because there's so many skaters that are great that may not be popular, right? But they skate incredibly. And there's just a divide between the popular skater who gets paid that can live off of their paychecks every month to the ones that have to work and have a job. And to connect the dots because there's so many brands that want marketing and promotion in a legitimate way, one that complements their brands in a way that really meshes well, because so many brands will like go, oh, we want skateboarding, and they get some actor and he skates terribly, and then they go, we have skateboarding marketing our thing, but they should have it done authentically. They should have it done in a way that's professional, and they should support that because they're athletes. You know what I mean? They're guys that are not in
and
football or
and
baseball
I'll
or
say this too.
basketball that have a union where they're all making decent money to survive. I think that skateboarding has now come a long way to where now we are seeing that there's such a huge roster of incredible skaters that are not businessmen. They came from gnarly backgrounds. They came from gnarly, survival mode, situations. Skateboarders are a different breed of people. They don't come from, well-to-do homes at a lot of times. They use skateboarding as an outlet to really change their lives and to say, you know what, I can make something of myself regardless of my situation. And that's another beautiful part of skateboarding that I think people forget, is that skateboarding was an outlet for a lot of kids to be an individual, not to be told what to do and to be forced into things. And that's another freedom that skateboarding brings the mind of kids that grow up feeling the pressures of having to perform to fit in, the bullying, this whole, you have to comply. And we were the non-compliant kids that said, no, we're gonna do something that's not professional, and then we're gonna make it professional. And here we are, it's now a professional sport. And for kids like me that grew up, that were rough around the edges, that really wanted to have fun and basically terrorize everywhere we went, and push everybody's buttons wherever we could, is now something to where these kids are ready to perform, but there's no platforms, there's no say arms of income that they can actually receive a career kind of status from skateboarding. And I think that's where we can really align the dots. We can put people together with brands together with the skaters, and really make this a seamless, a good looking, a classy, a professional type of marketing campaigns that I think the rest of the world is going to go, wow, this is what skateboarding is. This is what
Yeah,
it's supposed to look like.
let me
This
let
is,
me add let me
this is
add that
definitely,
it's really
done
easy.
right.
It's really easy for some Fortune 500 or Fortune 1000 CMO to say, "Hey, we want to get into skate. Let's go get one of those guys that we saw in the Olympics." That's not the play. I mean, they're amazing. The brands are already there, and it's expensive as hell. The way to do it is to push that money down to skaters that are yet to be discovered or locally hot, and put a team together of sponsored skaters that are up and comers, and do it in a way that's reasonable cost and super authentic. A lot of these skaters have great social media following, and can deliver everything a brand wants them to do. They just need the connection, and that's what Christian and I are working on.
Well, I'll tell you, Billy, you mentioned it last time, so I want to make sure we bring it up. I mean, and Christian, you mentioned this a little bit earlier, art versus sport. I don't think they're mutually exclusive, right? Sports are art in a lot of ways, and nothing's really more artistic than skating when you think about it. But Billy, I think last time you talked about it, I mean, what's it's awesome to watch skating, whether you make the trick or you fall, right? It's like ready made for social media, and that's
Yeah.
what creates such great followings. And I deal a lot in the college sports space, and you see it happening in college sports across all sports, right? Whether it be football, women's volleyball, all of these athletes are now getting compensated, which all athletes need this, right? They don't have this type of funding when they're coming up, and they start to build that social media following. But I think I think to your point, skateboarding's ready made for it, and brands are always looking for that authenticity, right? It's one of the things that we always
Yep.
tell, we talk to athletes, just be authentic. If you're going to pick a brand to work with, make sure that you use the product. Like, don't just take the money. There's a long game here. Be authentic in what you're doing, and nothing's more authentic than the skateboarding community. Even talking about worried about wearing the colors in the Olympics, right? They still want to make sure they feel authentic and be who they are. That's a perfect example of that.
Yeah, the great thing about skateboarding is it's so diverse that there are skaters that use virtually every brand you can imagine, and matching that, you know, love of the brand and authentically supporting the brand with what the brand requires in terms of, you know, paying attention, timely posts, timely demos, and showing up at the events on time and being professional. You know, that's something that I think is out there for brands. If they're not in skate, they need to be, because it is one of the only ways to reach a whole demographic. That frankly, if you're a big brand, you need recruitment. You know, you need those 13-year-olds paying attention to you. If you're Ford Motor Company, because at 16 they're buying cars. You know, you need to build that loyalty early, and skate allows that to happen in a super authentic way. So we're pretty excited about the sport and where it's going, and you know what it needs and what we can provide for it.
And
So, Billy,
skateboarders are the
you and Christian both referenced what's happening with the Hall of Fame in Vegas. Can you share, when that's going to be executed, when people can come to Vegas to visit it?
Yeah, we're a little underground. We haven't really announced yet, but we're building a 65,000 square foot facility under roof in a major hotel casino, which includes indoor multi-level skateboard park, pretty spectacular, radical park design. We expect it to be the best skateboard park in the world. We have a brewery and restaurant with a big branded company that we're excited about. Concert stage and theater, and Red Bull's involved with us to do premiere films and things like that. We have a DJ booth, and we're working with Steve Aoki's team to make sure that's right, and a podcast studio so we can host podcasts. Six retail stores, sort of California surf skate retailers, room for two pop-ups. Of course, our exhibits and curations telling the story of skateboarding in a deep way that should be interesting to all people, because we're really relating it to pop culture and the different things that were happening in the different eras beyond skateboarding and that skateboarding affected. And then we have 15 pro skater designed suites in the hotel. So for the fully immersive experience, we've got a bunch of those things going on. So yeah, we've got a bunch of big brands. I think Christian mentioned a music stage that'll be branded as well, and we expect live music there virtually every night. And we're doing a late night after party as well, which should be pretty fun, with little punk rock kind of Green Day and Blink 182 thing going on there late at night. So it should be pretty cool. We're also adding a lot of technology. We've got a partnership with a company called Flow State, which does AI recognition, video tracking. So every skater will have their entire skate session tracked, and then that whole video file uploads to our website, where they can go on, look at their file, learn what they need to learn, use some editing tools, and post directly to their social media from our site. So we're pretty excited about it. Actually, it's more publicly than I've ever said about it because we've been kind of under the radar a little bit, but there it is, Trey.
Christian spilled the beans, so I just thought I would elaborate on it.
Yeah, probably shouldn't have said anything to you in the first place, but whatever. It's the formal announcements will come, and we're really excited about it. It's quite an expensive venture. I'm personally invested in it, and yeah, it's
I
going to
love
be.
it. I love it because you're putting your money where your mouth is. You know, you're invested in it, Billy, and it's beautiful to see somebody like yourself who's come from places where you've come from to really invest into something that I've loved my whole life and
Yeah,
to
well,
see.
I took 3 years off and surfed during COVID, so coming back, I got to come back and do something meaningful. So that's where I lit. That's my spot.
It's really exciting what's going to go down in Las Vegas, though.
Well, I
It
love,
is
love
really.
to end. I'm super excited to see it. I love to end these podcasts with some bold predictions. So Christian, I'll let you come up. It could be a bold prediction on anything, maybe whatever you want, but give us a prediction.
Well, the prediction will be, skateboarding is going to be the leader in kind of like the cultural lifestyle sport aspect. But I believe that, the Skateboarding Hall of Fame is going to be a location that everyone in the world can come and experience, what the history of skateboarding is and what it's like today, because it'll be an experience that you can see firsthand live taking place. For me, I believe that's the future. That's the things that I think is going to really help our society, help the world, and help, of course, people like us who are passionate about the things we have done. I know Trey, you, Billy, we love what we do. We're not here doing this because it's just a paycheck. I believe that we truly love what we do. And if we love it, we're going to honor it, we're going to cherish it, and we're going to protect it.
Love it, love it, love it. So Billy, give us a
I
prediction.
Sure. I think skateboarding has hit maturity in terms of the sport, but the industry is a pretty immature industry. There isn't quite the understanding from financiers and business people. I think that's something that the Hall of Fame is frankly geared up to help with. We are, for instance, working on some insurance platforms that we can offer
Love you.
skaters.
Hey.
Our job is to honor skateboarding and frankly create opportunities for skaters. And there's going to be more opportunity for entrepreneurs and for skaters to develop their companies and their relationship with collabs and collaborating with other big brands. And I think that the immersive experience of skateboarding is going to become, bigger all the time. So
Awesome.
those are
Well,
the
I'm
two
going to
things.
leave you with my bold prediction, Billy. Here's the deal.
Okay,
We're definitely going to do a brand innovators event at the Skateboarder Hall of Fame. So
cool.
I can't wait to do it. I mean, we are the largest marketing community in the world, as you know. Do
Yeah.
250 days of content, live content a year, and there's no reason why we shouldn't be doing one at the Hall of Fame. So I'm excited.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I would say that the brand innovators people and every CMO on the planet needs to pay a little bit of attention to skateboarding. I'm available anytime to talk to people, but it is a way to reach the market in a super authentic way. And, I think all brands and all skaters are welcome. There's a fit for everybody and every brand and every skater. So, yeah, whatever. I'm with you.
All
I
right.
think you guys should be there. It's gonna be fun.
Awesome. Well, hey guys, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you re-recording this. We did the pre-Olympics and post-Olympics. Unfortunately, nobody get to see the pre-Olympics one, but and I'm super fired up to see you guys in Venice next week, and Christian to finally get to meet in person. And appreciate the time.
Yeah,
Hey, thank you very much, and God bless you guys. Really just excited to be here, to be with you guys, to share my life with you.
yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Thanks, guys.
Christian.